It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show. Smooth and Savvy is joined by some of the hottest talent in the entertainment industry, from musicians to authors and all those in between. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Mr. Smooth and Savvy himself, Douglas Coleman.
Ho ho ha ha hey 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 hee 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 hee. Welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show. It's me, Douglas Coleman. How are you? How are you? How are you? We've got a very full show today, a very long interview, a great interview, but not a lot of time to chit-chat, so we're just going to move it right along here. It's a wonderful day. I don't know why. I just have a lot of energy today. I feel very happy. Things are moving along. I've been busy interviewing guests, and we're going to have some great guests coming up in the next couple of months. Please stay tuned for that, including one returning guest who I won't mention just yet. I've been trying to get him back on the show, and he's finally made some time in his schedule, so he will be back. So he's the second returning guest on the Douglas Coleman Show. We will be right back.
You're listening to Mr. Smooth and Savvy right here on the Douglas Coleman Show. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Acclaimed author of Garden, Jane Yates brings you the first book in a new trilogy, Octopus Pirate, a story of a foundling who has unusual talents, such as the ability to communicate with octopuses. As a baby, he was washed up on an island off the Scottish mainland. An eccentric former nun who lives alone with cats brings him up. He joins a circus and narrowly escapes plots against him, flees to Cornwall, builds a replica pirate ship that's also an airship to travel back in time to fight real pirates. Get your copy today from Amazon, only 99 cents.
Hi there, this is Stuart Epps from the UK, record producer, engineer. You might have heard of me. I've worked with artists from Elton John to Led Zeppelin to Bad Company, Twisted Sister, Robbie Williams, Oasis, many, many great bands and artists in the past and the present and hopefully in the future. But you can work with me as well. You know, all you got to do is get in touch with me on eppsmusicproductions.com. That's EPPSproductionsmusic.com. And I can help you with your productions and with your recordings. A lot of people do home recordings now, which you can only take so far. Maybe they need a bit of professional help. So get in touch with me and we can sort it out. And thanks for Douglas Coleman for giving me this spot. Thanks a lot. Cheers, bye.
Hi, this is Douglas Coleman. Are you bored with the norm? Why not read a true out-of-this-world paranormal story by Alexis Nichelle? Alexis grew up in Hollywood. Her father was a Motown producer, actually Stevie Wonder's mentor, and her godfather was Marvin Gaye. Alexis has many truly awesome abilities and unbelievable real paranormal alien stories to tell. Stories which are true, sometimes creepy, but mostly amazing and highly entertaining. You can find Alexis on Fiverr.com under Alex Nichelle. That's AEHLEXNICHELE.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Ooh, don't know my own strength.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Madelyn Victoria grew up in the deep south of Texas, performing in public for the first time during a local Christmas pageant at age 5. She continued performing and singing throughout her youth at local competitions and pageants, earning awards and recognition as one of the area's top young performers. Her latest single, released with Star One Records and MTS, is He Only Loves Me on the Dance Floor. Okay, please welcome my special guest, Madelyn Victoria. Hi, Madelyn.
Hi. Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. Reading
Awesome.
through your bio here, let's see, you're from Texas, and you've been singing since you were a kid, it sounds like. You want to fill in a little bit of that? Give us just a little bit of background about your growing up and your family and anything you want to talk about to bring us up to this point in your life.
Yes, definitely. Like you said, yes, I've been singing since I was a little girl. I actually, it's a funny little story. Before I was, I was in my mom's tummy. She would put little headphones on her stomach, and I would listen to music like that, I guess. And then I was born to country music in the operation room. The doctor had George Strait playing in the operation room, and I grew up loving George Strait. I don't know if you could say that's the reason why, or I don't know what was going on there, but I mean, I love it still, and he's my favorite inspiration, and my favorite artist, George Strait in country music. But anyway, back to, when I first had my little performance, I was about 5 years old, and influence also came from a lot of my family members. They're very talented on my mom's side, and really close to all my family on my dad's side, my mom's side, but my mom's side, they're a lot more musically inclined and great singers and songwriters and musicians, and none really, pursued anything professional in the industry. But, I, see that, and, for whatever reason, and that's the reason why I feel like I do this, and I do this for them, and can't wait to where, I could just one day fly them out to a studio and we record all day. And, that's one of the goals. But, my family's a big inspiration for me. And also, growing up singing in church, doing different talent shows, learning the national anthem at a very young age and singing for different events. And by the time I was 15 years old, I went to this talent search. They were located in Dallas, and so they came down here to South Texas, and they saw me, recognized me, got me in their agency. I did a couple things with them, and I did a big competition in New York City with them, and that involved singing and acting and a little bit of modeling, and I won a few things, and I won the singing competition up there. And but I didn't. A lot of agencies wanted to sign me up there as well, and I really wanted to come back home and just not really get into that industry just yet. I really want to act one day, but I just had to come back at that time to Texas, and I worked with a group called Radio Disney Superstars, and by the time I was 16, we were opening up for the Jonas Brothers, and that's when I really realized, man, I want to do this for the rest of my life for real, professionally. And because it was just that concert setting, that concert feel, and what the crowd, and that's exactly what I wanted to be around for the rest of my life. So I got even more serious with it. I got a band together when I was in high school and started booking myself and our band everywhere, and it's just been nonstop ever since. I still book myself right now, and we've had some really great opportunities opening acts for really, really big names in country music, and also just singing in Nashville. Just so many different experiences and things that I've done so far in my career at this small level that I feel like, man, it's been great, and just the beginning, and I'm just excited for more and more to come.
Well, let me ask you about that Modeling Association of America International Competition. This is on your bio. It says in 2007. Now, did you go there to be a model, or did you go there to sing?
It was actually, it's called that, just, I guess, the official name would be modeling in there, but they have a big, variety of the arts there. It was modeling, acting, singing, soap opera acting. I mean, even divisions in the acting, photo posing, photography, all of that into that one association. And when I was up there, like I said, I competed mainly. I did the singing competition, overall singing competition, which included all genres of music from opera to of course, country. I was singing myself, and pop music, of course, and so all those different genres in that one competition. And then also I did the soap opera acting competition and TV commercial, and also photo posing, which is when you're posing in front of the judges without any makeup, and you just have your hair pulled back, and then in the background are your photographs so they kind of judge you on how well you photograph. So I received honorable mention in that one, in TV commercial, also in third runner-up in soap opera, and then I won the singing competition, which was pretty cool. Me being the only country singer there. There was no one else singing country music, and I kind of, I won, and there was other people like opera and jazz and all those other genres, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm doing all right, winning that. And so that was a really, really fun and really big experience being there in New York City.
Well, how many people were at this competition? I'm picturing something like, America's Got Talent, or one of those kind of, was it sort of like that?
It was actually it's a little different, the way it's run. It was held at the Waldorf Astoria, a real famous, of course, hotel there in New York City. And there was, different rooms for different things, and a big ballroom, and they have a big dance for us. So it was kind of more of like, you get to know everybody. And there was there was a lot of people though. I mean, not as much as America's Got Talent as far as like, the first calls that they get for, as far as I know, The Voice and American Idol do that where they have tons of people, like a big old stadium full of people, and it's not as, and I've been there before, and it's not as, for me, in lack of a better term, chaotic. Everyone's just everywhere, and for that one little competition, and so this is a little different, different feel, different vibe from everybody. All the agencies there are really, really well-known agencies. I mean, people that first discovered Tom Cruise and first discovered, all these other really big artists. So, I mean, and actors as well. So, it was just a different feel. And there were a lot of people. I can't say, exact number, but it was a lot. I mean, the big competition, like I said, it was there in their huge ballroom at the Waldorf Astoria when they would, do the big awards. And they're, the special guests were big soap operas from, I couldn't tell you now the big names that they had there. And, but it was really big.
The other one that's on here that I wanted to ask you about was the Radio Disney Superstars. What is that exactly?
Yes. I, like I said, when I came back from New York, I got cast for Radio Disney Superstars from the agency I was with. And again, this is Dallas Model Group. And a lot of people thought, oh, you do modeling, but they do a lot of, I mainly did acting and singing. So, I was cast through them, and we had this big, the auditions were held in Dallas where Prison Break, the TV show, was being held in their studios. So that was pretty cool too, being around that set. But anyway, I made it. And, what we did mainly was we were associated with Radio Disney, of course, and then with Disney. And, we were the singing and musical group for that, and around the Dallas area, which is a huge area here in Texas, of course. So we would go to different schools, different events. They would have, different events at the airport or whatever, and we'd perform and represent Radio Disney Superstars, and we'd all sing, different songs, and also whenever bigger acts would come in with the Disney Channel, acts like, for example, of course, the Jonas Brothers. That's one summer I was with them and staying up in Dallas. That was our big concert that we had, and so I was a part of that, which was really, really cool. And I got to sing a country song and also sing Como la Flor by Selena, that the late Tejano singer. So that was really cool to have that, sing that to that audience there for the Jonas Brothers. And at the time, of course, they were super huge at the peak of their career, and so that was a really, really neat thing. And they also wanted me to do. There was auditions happening, and also trailer pilots being done that they wanted us to be a part of, and for the Disney Channel. But at the time, I was still going to school here in South Texas, and I really again wanted to see what my other options are, because for me, I'm not seeing it as a missed opportunity or anything. I see it as, because I just knew I was going to make it in my heart, and I just thought, maybe that's just not my path, Disney or whatever. And I really wanted just to focus on my country music and my band and all that. So.
Well, what's her name went through Disney? Britney Spears, wasn't she?
Yes. Yes. Her, and even Christina Aguilera, I believe.
Right. And, was Justin Timberlake another one of those too?
Yes.
Went through there? Yeah. Well,
yes.
They're all big, huge stars at this point. So.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So did you get to meet the Jonas Brothers?
Whenever we were backstage, and this was actually at a huge water park there in Dallas, and I'm not, can't remember the name of it, but we were there, and it was kind of open backstage. Of course, it was closed off, but like nothing like rooms or anything everywhere, mainly because these guys, they just came in on their limo like right before their set, like 5 minutes before they were supposed to go on, and we're thinking, where are they? Like, and well, it ended up they weren't even there, and they just zoom in on their big limo, whatever. They popped out, and they kind of like, said hi to us real quick because we were all backstage, and said thank you, whatever. They jumped on stage and did their performance, and then they jumped on their limo again, and they told us they had another performance in like, I don't know, a couple hours. And so I guess they were going to jump in their jet and do that. So that was pretty crazy to see that too. I never had seen that.
Oh, well, yeah, they were just too busy, I guess, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
One of the other things on here that I found interesting was it says Madelyn studied both opera and mariachi. That's from one end to the other, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Especially since, I do mainly sing country music, and I love all kinds of music. I mean, just so people can know, I mean, the kind of person I love, the kind of person I am as far as music goes. And my favorite, of course, is country. I listen to Southern rock. I listen to classic rock, oldies, hip hop, pop, everything. And then of course I love singing mariachi music, which I was in a mariachi band when I was in high school. And people ask if, my ethnicity, and yes, I am Hispanic. And fourth or fifth generation Mexican American, and being here in Texas. And so I feel like, when I sing mariachi music, I'm really, getting close to my roots. So that's really, I love doing that as well. I plan to actually, sing a mariachi album and record some songs in the future. And, a lot of people here in South Texas with our culture, they really would love that. So that's really, really something I want to do. And then opera, something that's just beautiful to me. I love opera. And when I was in college for a little bit, I did study, so we took some opera lessons and did a couple of opera, little shows. And so, that was really, really neat too. I just got asked in another interview if I was going to be doing that anytime soon, or if I still do opera, but, in the future, why not? I would love to do that, surprise, my fans one day whenever I have my country base. That would be pretty neat, I think, to show just my versatility and what I could do in music and my singing.
Well, I was going to ask you if you had any recordings of you singing opera, because I'd like to hear that.
I don't, I actually don't think I do. I need to dig through my I think I have a video recorded somewhere. My mom recorded us when we were doing this play for some local schools here when I was in college. We did a play of, I think, Hansel and Gretel, and I was a fairy in there, so I was singing a fairy opera song. But
you should post that on YouTube. That would be sensational.
I know I should. I think I'm going to be doing that one day, and I think my fans would love it.
Oh, absolutely! Something like that would be a real treat. And something different. I mean, your fans who were expecting country music, and they click on that and go, "Oh wow, yeah, look what she did,"
Yeah, exactly.
That would be interesting.
Look what she can do.
Yeah. Let's play one of your songs. He Only Loves Me on the Dance Floor. I love that title. That's a fabulous title. Tell me about that song. I hope that's not a true to life story, is it?
Well, I guess I could kind of say it kind of is, but
I
wrote this song. I wrote this song about I'm gonna say 5 years ago. Mainly just because I love to dance. First of all, I mean, I love to sing. If I'm not singing at a dance hall, I'm dancing at a dance hall, or I'm out songwriting somewhere. But it's just gets you that feel of being there at a country dance hall. Even if you don't go dancing, it's kind of like, oh, you put yourself in that position kind of thing. Like, this is new. Like, people have told me I don't really listen to country music, but I really enjoy your music. It makes me feel like, that I'm actually there or something. And also the meaning of it, really just, it could be literally, if somebody there, have people at the dance halls and people that listen to this song have told me like, yes, that guy who really only loves me on the dance floor. We only go dancing and, nothing else ever happens, or, and also it can mean kind of thing of overall in general, the guy or the girl just wants one thing from you, and, you shouldn't, be a part of that relationship, or you shouldn't talk to them anymore, but you just can't help it because of that physical attraction. And so that's basically, what it's really about. Same old story, but told in a different, sort of way, kind of, making it a literal, he only loves me on the dance floor. And yes, I did have a boyfriend at the time, where we did go dancing a lot, and, we're good friends now, but I mean, we broke up at the time, and, we broke up soon after that. And, it is, I like to joke and say, yes, he really did only love me on the dance floor. And so it's funny, but I mean, I'm glad a lot of people are liking it and relating to it in their own ways, however they have their own stories. And, I'm just glad that, and I hope people like it here on your show.
Okay. Well, here is He Only Loves Me on the Dance Floor by Madelyn Victoria.
It's been a long week and he's on I'm walking on Temptation Street. I know his thoughts. They're saying, come back to me, and I can't help but get lost. He only lets me on the dance floor. He must be crazy, holding on to me so tight underneath the neon lights. I shouldn't let him. I must be crazy, but here we go, round and round. Our silence underneath the sound. He only lets me on the dance floor. He must be crazy, holding on to me so tight underneath the neon lights. I shouldn't let him. I must be crazy, but here we go, round and round. He only lets me on the dance floor.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Wow, I don't know where to start. I was going to say, first of all, you got a fabulous voice. It's a great
you.
song. The production is super. Do you write your own songs?
Yes, that was definitely written by myself for that one.
Wow. Yeah,
I do
that's
sometimes have my
tremendous.
brother come in on a co-write or something, and last year we did a little bit of a first time really in Nashville songwriting with a couple other writers, but yeah, for the most part I write my own songs.
Beautiful. Oh, well done. And
Thank you.
who produced that for you?
Actually, see a little story about it. I was first in Fort Worth when I first recorded that one and my few other songs that I have. And I love the production. Yes, it mainly, the ideas and everything came from, us being there with top level entertainment in Fort Worth. And then I feel like I needed a little bit more done to the songs as far as a little bit of re-recording. And so I re-recorded a little bit in Austin with some more production done with the Compound Studio. And so it was just really, really, really great guys that really helped me out a lot. And, of course, a little bit of my input as well. I like to have a little bit of input in my production also, as well as my brother's input. And, it just came out really, really great. And the musicians that, with their experience, as far as I had a little bit, they're not my band in the recording, but it's other musicians that I've heard here in Texas, really Texas country musicians that have a lot of experience on the road and really, really really talented guys. And so I had them get on there as well. And so it was just, and it just came out perfect as far as that song goes. And it's done really, really well in a couple of charts, and New Music Weekly chart. It's been number one for 2 weeks in a row in the past 2 weeks. And so I'm really, really thankful for everyone liking it. And I just we're planning on a next single, but yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, it's fabulous. Is there a video out for that as well?
Yes, people can go to YouTube and watch it. It's Madelyn Victoria, He Only Loves Me on the Dance Floor, and it's on there. I recorded it, recorded it in San Antonio, Texas, at the really well-known dance hall, Cowboys Dance Hall, and the gentleman in my video was one of the singers there at the Cowboys house band, and so it was really fun recording it. The same man, James Hill, who produced my video and recorded my video, is the same one that was at Austin with. He was my sound engineer there in Austin for the songs. So that was really neat, having him do that, and really talented guys.
Okay, I did want to mention you said cowboy, and on this I was reading and I had a chuckle, but I wanted you to tell us about it. 2009 Los Fresnos PRCA Rodeo. in Los Fresno, Texas, where Madelyn Victoria was crowned the inaugural rodeo queen. This was one of the many crowns she has earned, including Cameron County Cowgirl. Now tell me about that. What do you get for being Cameron County Cowgirl?
That is involved in the FFA Association. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It used to be called officially Future Farmers of America.
Oh, I do.
And
yeah,
so they have so I raised animals in school. So because that's my actual dream as well. I want to have a farm and land and a ranch. And so in high school, I was a part of the FFA organization, and also they have a little line of pageants that go on for the girls in FFA. So I entered those, and I received a little bit of awards. And then for my county here, Cameron County, I was excuse me, I was announced the Cameron County Cowgirl with the pageant, and that involves question on stage, walking on stage in your cowgirl attire, interview with the judges. I believe that they were looking at volunteer work and all that, and so then they pick you for the Cameron County Cowgirl to represent the county as an FFA member organization, and also at the Cameron County Livestock Show. And also from there, the rodeo here in Los Fresnos, which is just a few miles away from my hometown, they have a really big rodeo every year, which I've been a part of ever since I was their first rodeo queen. And in 20 years, they hadn't had one. And so the year that I became Cameron County Cowgirl, they decided to make whoever was the Cameron County Cowgirl would automatically become the rodeo queen of Los Fresnos, since it's all associated together. So that was really neat, being the first one ever. And it was really cool too that back then, this is a little story also with that I was the first queen, so they kind of they really didn't know what to do as far as okay, where do we put her here or there, figuring things out. So I didn't receive a sash or anything. They did get me a little crown to wear with my cowgirl hat, but this year I was performing as one of the acts for the big concerts that they have at the rodeo. So I kind of came back, and I was the opening act for a gentleman named Aaron Watson. So it was our show together. And so on stage, as soon as I was done performing, they're like, the radio station walks up there along with the rodeo committee, and they sashed me for the first time. They finally gave me my sash in front of everybody, the huge crowd, and it was just really emotional and really great time. And I'm just really thankful for those really kind people there in Los Fresnos to not forget to give me my sash for that. It was really nice.
Now, do girls wear Stetsons, or is that just the boys that wear those?
A few do. A few do. It is mainly for the boys. But hey, if a girl wants to wear a Stetson, then.
Well, because I know the girls wear the cowboy boots. I've seen, with sometimes they'll wear a dress and wear cowboy boots.
Yes, which I definitely do, and especially with my performances and whenever I'm out doing something outdoors.
But the guys, it's always the Stetson, the cowboy boots, and the big buckle. Usually is
the true cowboys.
The trademarks. Yeah.
Yes.
One of the other things I wanted to ask you about is, can I ask you how old you are, if you don't mind?
Yes, I'm 25. I was born in 1990.
Okay, 25. So you're still pretty young. You still can get into this business before you're over the hill, so to speak. Because, being a musician myself, I know that it's definitely a young person's game. It tends to be. I hate to sound pessimistic or cynical or something, but generally people, if they're going to make it big in the music industry, do it when they're in their 20s. It's not that usual for people to make it in their 40s and 50s. It has happened, but typically. And people seem to get signed younger and younger these days. I mean, Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber were both like 15 when they got signed to major labels. I mean, that's just incredible to me. But
definitely.
My point is, where this is leading to is, have you made the decision for your life that this is what it's going to be? You're going to be a singer, rather than something else, and then music is going to be on the back burner. I mean, this is what you're doing with your life?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this is it for me. I mean, as far as my faith goes and all that, I believe, God plays a big part in my life. And I've kind of, I'm not trying to be, pessimistic either, but I feel like, oh no, I'm already 25 and it's the end. But no. I mean, I feel like, I have my own story and my own way of going about this. And, I haven't been recognized by any big labels or anything yet, but, there's a reason for that, I believe. And, I've been honing my craft all these years. I've been writing for all these years. I've been getting my experience on the stage for all these years. And, when it comes, I'll be ready for it. Cause I know that these singers and these artists that, sign really young, they gain their experience through that. They gain it through the signing. The label tells them what to do. They do this. Like, okay, you gotta walk this way. You gotta sing this way. They get coaches for you for all that. They get, everything for you. Interviews. They get you, interview coach, like how to speak, in public. And I feel like I've been doing this all on my own, of course, with the support of my family, the support from my fans, the support from my sponsors, the support from everybody here in my hometown. And I feel like I've done all of that really on my own and with God. And when it happens, I just know exactly what I want, know exactly who I am, know exactly how my music's going to be and my style and my, my branding and all that. So I feel like that's going to be my story. And I have a lot of faith that it's going to happen really soon. And, I'm never going to give up because, whenever you give up, that's when it ends for you. People that say, well, I never made it big. And, well, it's because at some point, I guess they gave up. So, I'm never going to do that. I feel like I'm only 3 feet from gold. Eventually I'll hit it. And, like you said, it's really rare for someone to make it in their 40s or 50s. But if someone has been in the industry, I've noticed that in country music, and even now with I don't know exactly how old this man is. His name is Chris Stapleton, but I know that he's been in the business for a very long time. And it's not necessarily that he's 30 something, late in his late 30s, and he decides, okay, you know what, I'm going to start doing this for the rest of my life. No, he's been doing this for like all his life. And finally he's getting recognition and he got on a big label now that he's I'm assuming in his 30s, late 30s. And, he is just doing really big things. He just headlined the, San Antonio rodeo here, which is super huge for you to be a headliner. I mean, those are people like Alan Jackson, Martina McBride, even from other genres of music. And this guy's really making some noise here in the country music industry. And I feel like even if you don't give up, you're gonna do big things. And I feel like that's my story there.
Well, I agree with you about not giving up because that's paramount to success. The people who succeed in this business are the ones that keep plodding along. And
yes,
it's always the failures you learn from, and the rejections make you stronger, and you keep going and you keep going, and eventually something will happen. The other thing these days too is that it's not necessarily a mark of success for a musician to be signed to a major label. The whole climate has changed, where there are lots of indie artists that are doing quite well, who are self-produced, who do all their stuff on social media, who tour, and they have no major label support. The major labels have kind of lost a lot of ground with the internet. And, I've had this conversation with other musicians over and over again, but, I just had a country singer on named Luann Hunt, and I know she's an older woman. I better be careful how I say that. But, she's not, I don't think she's 20, and it took her a long time to get success, but she finally did. She was sort of the exception to the rule. But what she was telling me that was very interesting that we were talking about is that every day she goes on and just does something to promote her music, whether it be on Facebook or on Twitter. And now, she's gotten all kinds of awards and different things, and she's touring, and her concerts make money. And what the point that she brought up was that she made the decision that, quote unquote, success in the music business was not going to be measured by the amount of money she made off of it. She said she was much more happy with all the accolades and all the number one hits on the charts and this and that, which can lead to money. But that's what she was more concerned with. And I've always told musicians that are, wanting to get into the business, that if you go into this business with the intent of making a lot of money, you're going in for the wrong reason. Because you need to go into it because it's a passion of yours, and it's because it's something that gets you out of bed in the morning. So I think the measure of success in the music business has changed somewhat. Not to say that anybody wouldn't want to get signed to a major label, but it's not quite the top of the mountain like it used to be. Because
Yes, I believe that.
Yeah, because indie is really competing with them. You certainly could do it on your own without their help, you know. I'm not trying to say that, you know, that isn't something you should shoot for, but I'm saying it doesn't have to be. The other thing about the industry, well, one of the questions that I was going to ask you about it was, what are your loves and what are your hates about being in the music business?
You know, I'm glad you asked that. I feel like, you know, first of all, like you were talking about independent artists and, you know, we are doing this on our own. I consider myself one, of course, doing this all by myself, really. And of course, now that I have, you know, Michael Stover and the team with me, it's been just a blessing with that and helped so much. And, you know, now that I'm here talking to you doing this interview, I would have never done if it wasn't, you know, for Michael and for the team that I have now. And so,
Michael's
that's really,
great.
yes, he's great. And so I feel like, you know, little by little, I'm building something, you know, I'm building something, with myself. And the thing that, you know, I struggle with, and I guess you could say not really that I hate, because, you know, what you said earlier is a struggling and everything's a part of what you're learning from. And so I wouldn't say like, oh, I really hate doing this, but, you know, not being able to really, really, really focus, full time on my craft. You know, I did mention that that's what I'm doing and learning on my own a little earlier, but I wish I could do it a lot more. You know, I wish I could think about, you know, everything about my branding and my craft and all that. I wish I can really just sit down and have the luxury to just, you know, work on that. And what am I doing? Like everything, just to focus on that and everything else taken care of as far as, you know, the bookings and, which now we have Michael doing my promotions, which is so amazing. And, also, you know, just, the radio, which Michael is taking care of, but mainly bookings and, you know, mainly, so not that I love being on social media, but if I miss something, you know, that I forgot to post about or, you know, like something because, I'm at a show and I'm actually on the stage and, you know, I'm trying to do it all. And, you know, so not being able to do it all is something I really, you know, wish I already had it all put together as far as that goes. And not necessarily that I hate it and I can't really, you know, handle it or whatever, because I'm handling it and I'm learning and I'm doing it. And I think that's the pros and cons to that. One thing that I'm trying to say is, you know, the pro is that I'm learning on my own. I'm getting a lot of experience with that. But then the con is that, you know, I can't do it all sometimes, you know. So being with that big major label, you know, you wouldn't have anything to worry about. You know, they take care of it all. You know, they got your back and, you know, they're the ones investing their money into it. So they want to make sure it's all there. So I feel like, you know, the pro to that would be that. And the con to that would be like, no, you know, if I disagree with something, which I'm sure, you know, a lot of artists have gone through that. I've heard, and, you know, a lot of big artists have gone through that too, where they leave the label because of disagreements, of course. And so, I feel like that would be the con. So I know that there's something out there for me, as far as whether it is a perfect label that's going to let me do whatever I want or it's my own label. You know, that's one dream that I have. I feel like, you know, I'm getting all this together right now, and it's taking a little bit longer for me just because I'm getting it all together for my own label one day, or even if I do become with a, you know, a label and then later I make my own, or, you know, however it's going to be, you know, I feel like again, my faith and I put all my trust in God, and I feel like that's going to be taken care of. And, I am working on my own, you know, my craft and my own songs and all that. And, but like I said, you know, just not being able to do it all is something that I wish I could do.
Well, you brought up a good point about when you're signed to a label, how they just do it all for you. They also have the tendency to own you to a certain point. You become like a commodity to them. And the kids like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber, who got signed very young, I think Taylor handled it okay. Justin didn't.
Exactly.
You know,
I believe
and
that too.
it can screw up kids because they're not ready for it. They're not ready for that kind of instant superstardom and having all of that right at their fingertips. It's too much for them. You know, emotionally they can't handle it. I think somebody
definitely.
like you would be fine because you've kind of gone through the stuff on your own and you've seen what's there and what has to be done. You know, so then if all of a sudden somebody came along and took some of the responsibility away from you, it would just free you up to spend more time writing and recording and doing, you know, the part that you want to be doing. and not having to do so much of the business side of it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a two-way situation. There are good sides and there are bad sides. Story that I like to tell with other musicians is that the technology is also a double-edged sword. People will say, well, what do you think the pros are and the cons are about all the new technology for music? I always like to say, well, the pros are that now with technology, anyone can put a song out on the internet for everyone to hear. And I said the bad side, the con side to that, is that now with the technology, anyone can put a song out on the internet for everyone to hear. And it's
Exactly.
true. It's funny, but it's true because there is just some really awful stuff out there that just shouldn't be there. And the good stuff gets lost,
Yes, and I can also say with a pro and con is that the pro is that you can get your music out to so many people, and then the con is that you could get your music out to so many people because of the streamers nowadays, and everyone's like, I'd rather just stream the music than buy it, So
well, that's the other
another
thing. That's the other thing too, is that nobody wants to pay for it.
Yes.
Everybody just wants it for free on YouTube or stream for a penny, which is ostensibly free. So, yeah, artists are getting kind of ripped off that way. I think it's cheapened the whole product of music because people who do it for real, like you, would spend a lot of time in the studio to put that together and work on it for hours and hours and hours. And then when you put it out there, people want to stream it for a penny, just like they do with this other music that people knock up on a computer-generated noise.
Yes.
And it's on the same shelf. And I think that's wrong. That's the technology has placed both of those items on the same shelf, and they don't belong on the same shelf.
Yes, exactly. So I just hope there's some sort of uprising that's going to happen soon.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Industry.
Me too. Well, let's get to another song here. We've got Hold On. You want to tell us about that?
Yes, I wrote this song when I was living in Dallas for a little bit. I was up there. I've like I mentioned before, I was a lot younger when I was in Dallas there for a summer, but then I went back and I was staying there about just a few years ago. And I was in this rundown apartment with my best friend, and we were just kind of like, figuring out things in our life. And so this song just came to me, whether sometimes it could be an influence, like I said about my song, He Only Loves Me on the Dance Floor. I was actually thinking about it in the dance halls. What can I come up with? But this one just was kind of like for me, a God thing where it was just sent to me, and I just started writing within like 1 minute. I was done with the song. And, to me, and then I started feeling it. I'm thinking, oh, this is a song that I wrote for, my future husband someday. That's another dream of mine, just, settle down and once my career is good, have that relationship and have a family, and that's my dream. And so I feel like one day I'm going to find him, I'll find the one day, and this is the song for him, and just really holding on to it. And I hope everyone likes it.
Well, you got time on that one. Get your career done first, then do the family.
Definitely.
Because once you have the family, the career is going to be gone,
Definitely. It's so different for the women, sadly, in the industry. So yes, career first. I've been doing it this long, without any strings attached. And so now it's, in the future. This song is for my future husband.
Okay. Well, this is Hold On by Madelyn Victoria. Oh, super, super. Very nice. Like that
Thank
one.
you.
I especially like the guitar intro. It was different. It reminded me of classic rock. It sounded like a very sort of 60s classic rock intro on the guitar.
Good, because
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
You know, and then it busted into the kind of more traditional country sound, but it was like, oh, wow, this is different, you know?
Yeah, good, because I love classic rock and I love Southern rock, so I kind of put a little, taste and flavor in there every now and then.
Yeah, it was great. Well, you mentioned George Strait as being one of your idols or heroes. Who else did you listen to as a kid?
Yes, definitely George Strait. Alan Jackson, a lot, I was born in 1990, so I was the little girl, that was the big time era for me in the 90s. All of Brooks and Dunn, Patti Loveless, of course. As far as Shania Twain goes, I was a little girl watching her perform. Not really. I was about 5, 6 years old. Not really, paid attention at that young age to the words or the kind of music. I just saw a beautiful country singer up there with awesome, the concert setting, and watching her perform. I was like thinking, oh, I'm going to be just like her, or you know what I mean? And then hearing the music of George Strait and the actual songs that my dad and my uncles and the more the male side of my family really, really loved. And for some reason, I was a lot more drawn to that musically wise. And there's a few other females that have that sort of style of music too in the 90s, but there's different influences for me in different artists that really, show who I am and for me. And then as I got a little older, into my teens, actually, when I was in high school, I was discovering the older country that I didn't grow up on. And that's, people like Johnny Cash and Patsy Cline and Willie Nelson and all the outlaws of country music that I heard, from then in that era, and hearing that and just really, 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 made me feel and think, man, I want that kind of music as well. And right now, as far as, even right now in my favorite artists, I feel influence. And I mentioned, Chris Stapleton. There's some new guys coming up named, there's Sam Outlaw, and there's some Texas country artists named, Turnpike Troubadours, and even a guy named John Party right now that's doing some really good things with his major label right now that I love him so much. And so I take all sorts of different artists as, influence for me and who I am as an artist, and different aspects of me and who I am as an artist. And, mainly, of course, George Strait, mainly Johnny Cash for the songwriting. And also in another genre of music, I love, like you mentioned earlier, you hear that little classic rock sound, but I love the Eagles, CCR, Leonard Skinner. And there's even a band nowadays that play a big influence on me called Blackberry Smoke. So I love them as well. And also the late Tejano singer that I mentioned earlier, Selena, and her big influence in me as a performer, and who she was as a person overall. And sadly, of course, she's not with us anymore, but I'm always thinking about her, and always all these great influences that have for me on my music.
What about Sheryl Crow and Bonnie Raitt? Do you like them?
I do enjoy them. I've really, not really gotten into so much of their music. I do like their styles though. I really do. I do like the folksy singer-songwriter styles as well. I love bluegrass too. So, I mean, anything that I can put into my music and do something, because I always want to make a song different than the other, whether it's the musicality of it, the words, the lyrics, something that has a theme to it, or, I always want to do something different. And I feel like, the bands out there that do something different every time. And I do love a band that has a good style, and you can hear the same style in each song. I do like that too, but I want to be the kind of musician that does something different every time.
Well, listen, we better get to your last song here. Our time is ticking by very quickly.
Okay.
Let's go for Wild Ride. So why don't you tell us about that one?
Yeah, that one's a pretty cool, there's so many different ways and influences that a song can come about and the way it's born. And this one, we were at my uncle's house, really, really late. It was probably already midnight, and we were all just having a good time and, just partying it up with family. And he wanted us to go out to, his deer lease. He got real excited. He was like, we got to go to the deer lease. And I forgot to put, we got to go check on the feeders and check, whatever else is going on there. And so we drove out there really late at night, and it was a beautiful night. And, the stars were just crazy. He had us get down, there at the deer lease. He turned off the truck, and he's like, just look up, and the stars, I'd never seen them that way before, other than, always out in the country here. So, but during our ride, excuse me, and going out there to the deer lease, it was just so bumpy and just so many, little hills here and there. And so my mom was like, this is such a wild ride. We're having such a great time, wild ride. And I said, hey, I'm going to write a song about this experience with my Uncle Joe. And being out here with them, and just really, it transformed into something about having a wild ride in life and having a great time and not worry free, and just sometimes, you just got to let go and let the wild ride, take a hold of your life. And so, I hope people like it, and it's just a fun and catchy, upbeat one. And yeah.
Well, you mentioned something about your mom said, "Oh, this is a wild ride," and then in your brain it went, "Ding! There's a song." That is so typical of songwriters. Songwriters will hear something or see something, and it just sparks that. You don't really know where it comes from, but
Exactly.
something just sparks it, and boom,
Yes.
it
yes.
sets off the creative side. It's so very typical of songwriters. So that's great. That's super that you got that.
Awesome.
Okay, here is Wild Ride by Madelyn Victoria.
The night is young and so are we. Let's go down these back roads, get loose and wild and free. I got the bottle and you got the keys. Turn on some Wayland, straight cash, and Johnny Lee. Are you ready for a wild ride? Wild ride, dancing in the moonlight, moonlight. We're gonna keep this party rocking till the break of dawn. There ain't no way to stop us, you'll see. All we need to be is free. We're gonna make some new memories on this wild ride. No need to worry, no need to go astray. Just close your eyes and let your problems fade away. This is our time, let us do what we made. But don't let it burn too long, or we'll have to stay and pray. Are you ready for a wild ride, dancing in the moonlight, moonlight. We're gonna keep this party rocking till the break of dawn. There ain't no way to stop us, you'll see. All we need to be is free. We're gonna make some new memories on this wild ride. Let the music hit your soul, let your spirit take control. Let it all wrap around you on this road. Are you ready for a wild ride, dancing in the moonlight, moonlight. We're gonna keep this party rocking till the break of dawn, till the break of dawn. There ain't no way to stop us, you'll see. All we need to be is free. We're gonna make some new memories on this wild ride. It's a wild ride. Oh, it's a wild ride. Oh, it's a wild ride.
Yeah. Oh, great. I love the organ sound in that one. That's what stood out for me was the organ. Fabulous sound.
Thank
Terrific.
you.
Yes, super song. Well, listen, we're just about out of time, but I did want to ask you, what are you working on right now? Are you going to be touring, or you do have a band together, you
Yeah.
said? Yeah.
Yes, I do. I actually, like I said earlier, I'm doing all this on my own right now as far as the booking goes, the booking side of everything. And so, little by little, I'm starting to get a lot more shows than I did in my region, in my area. I've done a lot of stuff in my region, and now I'm starting to get out there a little more. And it's kind of like, the way I see it, kind of like slowly, you're breaking out of your region and then getting out there little by little, just spreading out. So I feel like I'm doing that a lot more. I'm not necessarily, going on any big tours yet, but we're working on that. I'm seeing my options and seeing how we could do that. Also planning to record some new stuff this year, starting to record it this year, and hopefully be done, for the following to release of my full first full-length album. I've never had a full-length album out yet, but I have plenty of material for that and many more. But everything has to be right on the timing, so I'm doing that. But a really big thing we're doing in the summer is going to CMA Fest in Nashville and performing out there in a couple things and a couple writers rounds, and also there on Broadway, the main stage with a couple of my friends' bands. And my whole band is not necessarily going to be out there, but I'll be out there, representing and myself and doing some things as far as songwriting goes. So I'm excited to be in Nashville for that. And but yeah, everyone can look online and see where I'll be. My tour dates or my show dates are going to be online, and hopefully I'll be coming to a town near you, city near you. So yeah.
Give everybody your website address so they can have a look at you and find out what you're up to.
Yes, it's MadelynVictoriamusic.com. And everybody can head on over there and see, again, my tour dates, my music videos on there, and also my music, as well as social media links that people can connect with me. It's a little bit under construction. Mind that, guys. I have a little tabs on there that are not necessarily working right now, but we're working on that. But you can still see in my social media links and all the rest I said. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google me, iTunes, Amazon. I'd really appreciate you guys, purchasing my music. It means so much to me. And, it also means so much to me if we can connect and, just give me a shout out there and, I respond back. And, that's the beauty, a big pro on social media, that I get to be really, really close to my fans, and, people can see what I'm up to, on a daily. So there we go.
Well, thank you, Madelyn, so much for coming on the show. I've enjoyed talking to you. I've enjoyed your music immensely. Thank you to Michael Stouffer as well for hooking us up. And good luck. Best of luck to you. Hope big things happen for you. I think you certainly deserve it. And I will keep an eye. Look forward to seeing what you're up to in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate it.
Well, that's about all the time we've got for the show today. I want to thank my very special guest, Madelyn Victoria. This is Douglas Coleman saying goodbye.